You're listening to On Fire Concerts Artist Interview of the Month series with your host, Ron Johnson.
Hey folks, it's Ron with On Fire Concerts, and I am sitting here today with a gentleman that if you don't know a lot about, you will know soon. Carlos DeFord Bailey, thank you for being with us
It's
today.
a pleasure.
And Carlos, you have got just such an amazing history from your granddaddy on, and I'm gonna let you tell the folks a little bit about your granddaddy and who he was, and that brings in how you got into the business and the influences he had on you. I'll let you tell that. So,
Well, I'm Carlos DeFord Bailey, and I'm a native Nashvilleian, right down the street. I was raised up out West Nashville. Granddad, he was DeFord Bailey. He was known as the harmonica wizard on the Grand Ole Opry, and he was stricken with polio at the age of 3. And everybody always asks me to this day, how did he begin to blow harmonica? So he grew up in a rural county, Smith County, Tennessee. And when he was lay there, and they knew he had eaten everything, and he wasn't, hungry or anything, when he cried, rather than giving him a fool or a pacifier, the rattlers and whatnot, they gave him a harmonica. And he grew up by a train trestle right next door to him. And when that train came down several times a day, he started imitating the sound of the train on his harmonica.
I have read where anything he heard, he could take that sound.
Dogs, cats, and everything that was around him, he heard sound, he put it to the harmonica sound. And that's how he began to blow harmonica, and he actually taught himself to blow harmonica. I don't think we have harmonica classes anyway.
He played other instruments as well, did he?
He played banjo and fiddler, and his grandfather, he was a fiddler champion. And he taught DeFord Bailey to play the banjo. And I always heard between a right hand and a left hand guy, some of the left hand guys are better than the right hand guys. I don't know about that though, because I'm right handed.
That's me, I'm right handed.
Yeah.
So you just have to take their words.
Yeah, I'll just take their words for it. But anyway, he did play fiddler and banjo. And how he began to play on the Grand Ole Opry, George D. Hay, after he began to walk again, George D. Hay from the Grand Opry and the WSM radio station back then, he heard him playing on his harmonica up by the store. Him and his brother was cooling off. And he heard Granddaddy playing the train on his harmonica. And he invited him to the Grand Ole Opry that night, where they was originated to change from the Grand Opry, the barn dance, to the Grand Ole Opry. And George D. Hay invited him to perform on the Grand Ole Opry that night. And he went, and the night that they renamed the Grand Opry to the Grand Ole Opry, he introduced DeFord Bailey to the stage. He said, for the last hour, you've been listening to the Grand Opry. He said, for the next hour, you'll be listening to the Grand Ole Opry. And that name stuck until this day.
And DeFord Bailey was the first one on the Grand Ole Opry.
Right, he was the first that ever performed on the Grand Ole Opry. Exactly.
As a new name. And explain how I've read where some credit him with naming
the Grand Ole Opry. They did. Because the night that it was renamed the Grand Ole Opry, George D. Hay said, you just helped name from the last two, the barn dance and the Grand Opry, to the Grand Ole Opry. And so he was the first that helped, and he said he helped originate that name, the Grand Ole Opry.
I've heard some harmonica playing he does, and it just amazes me that you hear like the Pan American Blues.
Pan American Blues.
And so you take that and you listen to someone play Orange Blossom Special, you got to hear part of that.
Absolutely.
And it's just amazing that the talent, and so that had to be a big influence on the whole family and yourself included.
It was.
But first, let me ask, it was an interesting thing because your granddad, and there again, it goes back to and I could go into mechanics with myself and my family, but my dad and my granddad, but you, so DeFord Bailey did that, but he had a shoe shine business.
He did. Once he wasn't with the Grand Ole Opry any longer, he played on there from 1926 to 1941. And when he left the Grand Ole Opry, he opened a shoe shine parlor on 12th Avenue South. And that's how I began to start shining shoes. I got a successful shoe shine business at 102 Woodmont Boulevard. And so Daddy would wake me up, DeFord Jr., and say, your granddaddy wants you out to the shop. And I had to go out there whether I wanted to or not on Saturdays. And I began to prep shoes. Then I gave me the rag, he gave me the brush. So I started shining shoes. And I've been shining shoes, I guess, since I was about 15.
Well, even your clientele list that I've seen, I think, wow. I think where I've seen Shania Twain called you.
Yeah, and look, the thing about that, I had run up and down Music Row, and so my manager, you ever heard of Ron Dini?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he done all my mandatory work for me back then. And he said, we're going to sit down and we're going to write a song called Music City Shoe Shine. Man, I'm doing it tonight
on the Opry?
At the Opry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are. And folks, he is. Carlos is on the Grand Ole Opry, as this is being recorded on the 17th of February tonight.
Yeah, and I was absolutely amazed. I'm going like, I've been wanting to do the Grand Ole Opry like for 15 years. And I'm going like, well, my dad did it with Dolly Parton at the 75th Grand Ole Opry anniversary.
Oh, okay.
She sang this song, and Daddy blew the harmonica on there. Can't think the name of the song. Oh, yes, I do. Swing Low, Sweet Tread.
Oh, okay.
And I went, and from that point, I started hanging backstage with Melvin Salone and friends. You remember Melvin Salone used to do hoof dancing?
I do, yeah.
And that's how I got a lot of pictures. So I was saying that once he seen I could dance, he put me on the Wilson County Fair with Melvin Salone and friends.
Right.
Yeah, and so ever since, everything just kind of took itself off.
So just real quick, folks, as you can see, Carlos has got a medallion on that was his granddaddy's medallion as he was inducted into the Hall of Fame on the same time Alabama and Glenn Campbell was. That was special.
Pastor, and let me tell you how that happened. I've always, once I found out who my granddaddy were and what he did with the Grand Ole Opry, and I was seeing other people that was being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and he played with Roy Acuff and Bill Monroe and some of the other guys, and they traveled throughout the South. And when the book came out, I read the book, and I'm going like, I wonder why he's not in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And so I had begun to sing country music through Dobie Gray. My brother played drums with Dobie Gray,
okay.
D4 III,
Right.
and Monty Stewart. Monty Stewart and my brother, and they was real good friends.
Okay.
And so I would tease Dobie Gray a lot. Why y'all keep leaving me here? You know I can sing, right? And he said, we're gonna get at you one day. And so one day the phone rang. It was Dobie Gray. He said Marty Stewart would like to meet you. And Costas from Polygram Records. You know, Costas wrote for some of the biggest country music stars in the world. And so I made the meeting. I met Costas. Dobie didn't make it that night, and I met Marty Stewart, and they had this song called Shelter from the Storm.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to record it, so I went to lunch the next day with Marty Stewart and Costas, and I'm going like, this is it. Then 15 years later, here I am. We didn't get to record that song, but he allowed me to perform that song on each concert that I did. It's a beautiful song, Shelter from the Storm. I wish I could sing it tonight.
It is, it's amazing that the influence that I mean, the things that people do, such as yourself, and I was so glad to see where you were pushing for a street to be named.
Oh yeah, it's a done deal. So I got this meeting on March the 1st. The MCs, they finally signed off on it. And I really didn't have to do many petition signing. And so that's a done deal. So I'll need to be at the meeting on the 1st of March and let them know actually what day I want to do, because I want to do a parade with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I pushed for 12th Avenue South. Have you ever noticed when you go down 12th Avenue South in Edge Hill, it's a historical marker right there with DeFord Bailey on it. The DeFord Bailey Rose Garden there, and that's where he last resided at.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Right. And so we're gonna name Horton Street because see the WSM radio tower was there on Horton Street for years, and that little house still stands there.
Oh, okay.
Everything has been torn down and made over there, but that house still stands there between 15th and Horton. And so it was a lot of points there.
For that to be the street.
For that to be the street. And that runs from 12th all the way down to 21st in front of Vanderbilt Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going like, well, we do Horton Street because Horton Street has a lot of country music history.
History there.
To there, yeah.
And I think your granddad definitely deserves a street. He affected a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
He did.
With the music he gave us all. And now you're out there. I believe you play a lot with the Old Crow Medicine Show?
Correct. I've been with the Old Crow Medicine Show now, I guess about 2 years.
Oh, okay.
They're some great guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing them again.
And they're on the Opry with you tonight.
Yeah, they're on the Opry with me, yeah. And we also did the Ryman.
Right.
Bought New Year's in at the Ryman. But those some great group of guys, and they got so much energy, and they just full of music, man. And I enjoy being with them. You know?
Well, Carlos, I appreciate, like, when I see someone I think that's got an amazing story like you do, and folks, please go out there and look up Carlos DeFord Bailey. You'll find plenty of stuff, and it's amazing. And you're just getting started.
Absolutely, yeah. I been singing for years. The first song that I ever performed was "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay." Jimi Hendrix played in my father's band.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, and so Dad wanted me to play guitar, so he bought me a guitar, Magnavox guitar with the wah-wah.
Yeah.
I got my little headband and everything, and I'm going to headband like Jimmy. And so that didn't happen. I think I learned 1 or 2 songs on that guitar, and I met the Jackson 5 and Marvin Gaye. Tickets was back then was $7, let me tell you. And my mom allowed me to go because in school when I was in the 5th and 6th grade, I imitated Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 and everything. And so I met them. So I said, I wanted to be a singer. I said, I don't want to play no guitar. I said, I'm gonna sing because I want to always be that out front guy.
Right.
Because I could dance and I could sing. They tell me I can sing, but you know, so.
I think I would tend to agree a little bit.
Yeah. And so anyway, ever since then, I started singing. I was doing PTA meetings. I would do the national anthem at the start of the football games and things like that. And ever since, I just been performing. I always wanted to perform on the Grand Ole Opry. And just by the grace of God, I'm laying in the bed, and it was about 8:45. Andre called me and asked me if I ever done the Grand Ole Opry. I said no, but I've been on that stage several times.
Right.
Because you ever heard of Tom Joyner morning show?
I know who you're talking about. I don't know him. I know who you're talking about.
They came to Nashville, and I won the Tom Big Break.
Oh, okay.
And so that Saturday, I was at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they had the show.
Oh.
And so I actually sung on that song, and that was in '92.
And I'm gonna tell you what, I've seen some pictures. I haven't been there since they've redone it because they closed during January and went to the Ryman.
Mm-hmm.
But they've redone the stage of the Opry, and man, I tell you what, from videos I have seen and pictures I have seen, it's remarkable.
I know it is. I hadn't seen it yet, but tonight, God's willing,
They
I'll
got
be coming on.
the
Sure.
circles lit up
Really?
and like an inlay around it. From what I've seen, I thought that just it's amazing from what I've seen of it, and looking forward to tonight.
I'm looking forward to it.
And but tell the folks out there where they can find out about Carlos DeFord Bailey.
You can go to Instagram. You can Google Carlos DeFord Bailey, and that's where you're going to see most of the stuff. I am on YouTube as well, and you can see all my videos there. You can see the dance to go with the Music City Shoeshine Man. I'm going to teach him tonight how to do that dance.
I've watched it tonight. I got to watch it a couple of more times to learn the dance.
I know. So I'll get to do it live, but y'all can go to YouTube. Just about any platform you can find
them.
You can find me.
Well,
And,
I mean, we are just, I am just honored to have you today. And you have been so nice to me since we've met and started talking. And more things are coming, folks.
yeah.
And you're going to be hearing a lot from Carlos DeFord Bailey. He's just starting. It's amazing how, I've always said, Carlos, it's amazing how someone such as yourself, and I've been promoting concerts for 20 years now. Finally, William Morris and these people are taking a little bit of notice. But it's an overnight sensation, but you've been doing it for...
I got you. You're exactly right. And he's going to promote me one day, so I'll probably be going out on the road soon. Again, I've been there with several bands, but I wasn't doing it like this.
Well,
And so I'm excited about it.
We've got a lot of things going on, and folks, but Carlos DeFord Bailey, you will be hearing a lot from. We hope you'll share this video with your friends. Tell them about Carlos. Go out there, look him up, check him out. We'll watch the Opry online or on Roku or wherever you watch it. Come and see it in person. But because Carlos will be back on the Opry again after tonight.
Absolutely. I pray and I hope so. I got a video coming out on next week that I did a couple of weeks with the Grand Ole Opry. It's just an interview. They sent me a sneak preview yesterday. If you get the channel Circle on your TV, just go to Circle after the show tonight, and it comes on at 11 o'clock, or you catch it again like 5 o'clock in the morning. Just go to Circle. I think it has something to do with Channel 4 or 441. Anything had to do with the Circle, but the TV.
You
Go
can
to
Circle
your TV.
Access is also on all the streaming, Amazon, Roku, all that.
Absolutely.
And it's actually a free channel.
It is.
And you can watch the previous editions if you miss this. So, but Carlos, we thank you so much, man.
I want to thank you for
with
being
us
here, man.
tonight.
It's a pleasure,
And
man.
we've got
Thank you.
it is just a blast. I love what I do, and I'm fortunate and blessed to meet people such as yourself. And
Likewise.
we've got more coming, folks. So we hope you'll stay tuned with us. Follow us on all our streaming platforms, online, on fireconcerts.com for all the shows we have coming up, YouTube, all that good stuff. And until next time, we'll see you then.
God bless you.